In today's video, we're going to talk about the exact mindset shifts that separate women who constantly dream about changing their lives from the women who actually do it. These 6 mindset shifts helped me to stop overthinking, stop waiting until I felt ready, and become someone who finally follows through. Stick around until the end because this last mindset shift completely changed how I think about taking action. And honestly, I think it's the biggest reason why women stay stuck. If you're new here, hi there, I'm Samira. I talk about feminine energy, mindset, and rebuilding your life in a way that actually works for women without the burnout and extremes. Now, if we're being honest, I was the biggest culprit of knowing exactly what to do, did the research, did all the planning, did all the preparing, and still not take action. I watched endless YouTube videos. I would have a dedicated notebook of studying and taking notes. I have read every self help book on this planet. I did journaling, I did it all. And despite doing all of that, nothing helped me move the needle. Because honestly, your life doesn't change simply by just learning more. My life changed because I slowly became someone who acted. Now, just a disclaimer, this is not another productivity video. I am not going to sit here to tell you to wake up at 5 a.m., hustle harder, or optimize every minute of your life. I think we've actually misunderstood what taking action really means. The goal is not to do more. The goal is becoming the kind of woman who creates more peace because she trusts herself enough to take the next step. It's as simple as that. And real quick, before we dive in, if you're tired of hustling and just have this strong calling to slow down, I created a free 7-day soft life workbook challenge. It's a simple yet powerful way to shift your habits and energy in alignment with the woman that you deserve to become. You can grab it for free in the description below. Okay, now you must be wondering, Samira, how do I go another year with seeing profound change in my life and not looking back and saying, damn, I wasted another year? Or, man, I know exactly what I need to do, but I just don't know why I can't do it. Now, I am here to help you with these 6 mindset shifts, and let's dive into mindset shift number 1. I want you to stop collecting information and start collecting evidence. Most women think that they need more information to begin. Now, don't get me wrong, I absolutely love learning. Like I said before, I will go get a new fresh planner, a new set of pens, get all the stationery that I need with the cute highlighters, and just sit there and learn. But like I said, that does not move the needle. And I do truly believe that books and podcasts and YouTube videos can completely change your perspective. But information is only powerful if it changes your behavior, if it can influence you in a good way. I know women who are so self aware, like they have it down from their horoscope, their childhood traumas, their subconscious patterns, their attachment styles. Like they can explain to you in therapy talk or whatever talk that you have why they are the way they are. They're so self aware, they have all of the knowledge. However, this information can still be a trap. Let me explain. What you're actually missing is evidence. So I know you're guilty of saving videos on TikTok, reading books, listening to endless podcasts, doing all the research, and waiting until you're 100% ready. Sounds familiar, right? But the reason why we do that is because that in itself feels productive. However, I was in this vicious cycle for years. I thought I was the most productive person ever, but when I reflected and looked back, I'm like, you know what? I am not an inch closer to my dreams whatsoever. I have all this information. Honestly, it's a really crappy feeling to know that you're so productive, you know all the information, you listen to podcasts, you're like, I already know what this person's going to talk about. I know how you're supposed to eat. I know how you're supposed to do that. It's a crappy feeling to know the information and still feel like you haven't done anything. And it's actually funny because I personally was so scared of this feeling back when I graduated with a bachelor's and I was still kind of unsure. I was that girl. I was unsure about what I wanted to do. I majored in international relations and I was working for the state government, and a lot of people were going towards law school, or a lot of people were getting their masters, and a lot of people were like finding jobs that they liked, but I was still not 100% sure. And the idea of a master's sounded so appealing, and a lot of people out there in that field did end up getting masters, but I'm like, oh my gosh, if I get a master's and still feel this way, I will feel like more crap. Like I will not feel accomplished whatsoever. Like what's the point of having a master's degree when you're still feeling like, how am I contributing to the world? Like what action am I taking? Like I intuitively knew this, and this is an example of that. So ultimately, I want you to understand that knowledge is good. If you're already getting information, that's good. It's not a bad thing. and it can create a lot of good ideas. However, taking action is what shapes your identity. I really do trust, like, if there's two people that says that I have read every book about this topic, versus someone that's like, I've been through this situation, I know what it's like in real life, I would trust a person that has experience and has actually done it versus the person that's just read books about it. If that makes sense? Like, you want to have something to show for it. And you yourself will trust people more versus a person that just has all these ideas and knowledge, but they have nothing to show for it. Like I said, action creates identity. Your brain wants your behavior to match who you believe you are. If you see yourself as someone that always quits, you will keep quitting. But every time you follow through, every time you actually take the action, you are giving your brain evidence, data, that you're becoming someone who doesn't quit. A couple example to understand how identity works and why it plays such a big role in how you take action is let's talk about smokers. Let's say you identify as a smoker and you're trying to quit smoking. That's your identity, as someone that is constantly trying to quit smoking, because you still identify yourself as a smoker. But if you adopt a new identity of someone that I don't smoke, I am not a smoker, your actions begin to align with it. Does that make sense? You first have to identify as a person who doesn't do that stuff, like quit or not follow through. And eventually you'll start taking action that leads to the identity that you believe yourself as. So a tangible action that I want you to take is, first and foremost, stop listening to another podcast, stop buying that new self-development book. That's step number one. And number two, I want you to acquire evidence that aligns with someone that you want to identify as. If you went for a walk, that is evidence that you prioritize your health. Did you post your first YouTube video or your first Instagram post? That is evidence that you are a creator. You said no to people you wanted to people please. That is evidence that you have boundaries. You had a difficult conversation. That is evidence that you can handle discomfort. You read one page instead of scrolling. That's evidence that you invest in yourself. So I want you to start taking note of this and write it down and tell your brain that, hey, this is the evidence that I am identifying as a person that I want to be. That's mind shift number one. Now, a lot of women might say, okay, I know what I need to do, but why am I not doing it? This leads to mind shift number two. Mindset shift number two is self-sabotage does not look like laziness. A lot of women out here think they're just lazy or they're procrastinating, and they've just identified that as that kind of person. But I want you to dig deeper with this mindset shift. Usually when you're not taking action, you're acting upon fear. And I want you to understand, what is that fear that's holding you back? Is it fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of success, fear of changing, or fear of even being seen? For me, I know for the longest time I wanted to be a YouTuber and I wanted to create content on these kind of topics. However, I always delayed the process, or if I even started, I would self-sabotage immediately. And one way that I noticed myself as a pattern is that once I started taking action, I had to tell everybody about it. Whether it was a new idea, like a business idea, a YouTube video, a new project, or I just felt the need to explain to myself. I felt like everybody saw that I posted a video and I had to explain myself to everybody why I'm doing this, what's the point of it. And I just realized over time that I'm just seeking validation. And also, the validation was also a form of premature celebration. Premature celebration is that when you talk about your goals, it gives your brain a little bit of satisfaction, almost like you've already accomplished something. And I was the queen of this. I love telling people my entire blueprint, my vision, and before I had even started. And you could say, like I said, it gave me dopamine. I felt like I already accomplishment just by telling them that I had this vision and I want to do this. But in reality, I was just seeking validation and hoping to get that approval that what I'm doing is the right thing. But the biggest shift for me was realizing I didn't need to prove my ideas to other people. I needed to prove to myself. So I stopped announcing everything and started building quietly. Now, instead of sharing my intentions, I let my actions do the talking. Now, from this personal story of me of why I felt the need to announce, it was a fear of showing up. It was a fear of failing. It was a fear of I was acting upon a lot of fears. And because I have done this so many times, it became familiar to my brain. Now, why is this important? Once you start creating a pattern of doing this, like you have these fears that you play upon, your brain likes prediction. And so because I've always been scared about this, scared about starting YouTube and sticking to it and, with all the fears that come with it. This was a feeling that I had every time I would reattempt YouTube. So it's important to know that brain prefers what's familiar, not necessarily what's best for you. It uses your past to predict your future, which kind of goes back to why with Mindset Shift 1, to find evidence that supports the identity that you want to have. Now, here is a common example. There's a lot of people that are drawn to entrepreneurship. However, they have a hard time giving up their 9 to 5 job. They dream about starting a business, but every time they think about leaving, it feels terrifying. Not because it's the wrong decision, but because their brain has years and years of evidence that a paycheck is safe and entrepreneurship is unknown. Our brains often mistake familiarity with safety. And once I understood that, I stopped trying to eliminate the fear and started expecting it. So, whenever I came back to YouTube, I had this crazy urge to announce it to the world that, hey guys, I am back. Check me out. This crazy urge to message my friends and tell them, hey, look at what I'm doing. I didn't have Instagram at the time, but if I had Instagram, I would have been like, I'm back on YouTube. Did I do it this time? No, I didn't even tell my own family that, hey, I'm back on YouTube, because I knew that this was a pattern that I would give myself a premature celebration. I was looking for validation, and I had to prove to myself, only myself through action, that I could do it. This is why this whole concept of being delusional is getting really popular and why it works. That's why I'm okay with being a little delusional and really telling myself that, hey, Samira, you're a YouTuber, you're a successful YouTuber, you post all the time, you show up, you don't need anyone's validation. Even though I still have that fear come up every single time I press record. Sorry guys, I just had to move because my phone was propped up on the window and the sun made it overheat. So here we are in this new angle. Okay, back to what I was saying. This is why it's important to be delusional. You have to believe in a future that you have not experienced yet until your brain catches up. Every woman who's built a successful, incredible life believed in it before she had any evidence to show for it. So let's reflect. What is something that you're trying to protect yourself from? Why do you keep self-sabotaging? What is this fear that you have? So I want you to understand that the fear will always be there. You just need a different way to take action. And continue to show up and take action is just proving to your brain that, hey, I am not as scared as I used to be. So once you overcome this fear, let's go back to Mindset Shift 1. Start gathering evidence by taking these small actions and telling your brain that you are the person that you want to become. Mindset shift number 3 to adopt is that it's okay to be a messy doer than a thinker. Most women think that successful people are smarter. No, that is not the case at all. They've simply just had more audacity to take action. Because the difference between a thinker and a doer is not intelligence, it's repetition. A thinker likes to wait around for the right time. A thinker likes to plan. A thinker likes to perfect it. And a thinker likes to have more certainty. So kind of like when I was announcing my idea, I needed validation or, certainty that what I'm about to do is the right thing to do. And what does a doer do? And what does a messy doer do with the audacity? They first and foremost start with the messy step 1, unsure if it even will work. Second, they experiment without knowing if the outcome is even going to happen. Then from whatever happens from the experimentation, they adjust, and then they learn from that. And they do this over and over again. Every time they take that action and experiment, that gives you feedback, valuable feedback. And even if you do fail, and even if you make mistakes, that's data. What is that popular quote by Thomas Edison that he found 100,000 ways? I'm saying it wrong. I'm butchering this quote. He found a lot of ways of how not to. Oh my God, I need to look this up. He says, I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that don't work when it comes to turning on a light bulb. Pretty much what I want you to know is that you will never have the perfect path laid out for you. Never. It's always going to be a messy start to finish. All you need is just enough information for the next step. One of the biggest realizations that I had from this mindset shift is that I had to ask myself, what can I consistently show up for the next 5 years? Not 5 weeks, 5 years. Because I'm officially 35 and I've had a good amount of experience working a 9 to 5, a good amount of experience working for a job I didn't like, a lot of experience of, picking a career that I didn't like. And I knew exactly what I didn't want. And I was like, if I'm going to commit to something, it has to be something that I like, that I can continue showing up for the next 5 years. So I want you to ask yourself that. And once I envisioned something that I don't mind doing for the next 5 years, so I stopped trying to create a perfect plan and started creating a rhythm I could actually stick to. And I feel like this is why a lot of women are not taking action because they probably felt the same way I did before I started this YouTube channel. Now, this is really important for me, and this is a big reason why I'm back and I'm consistent and I'm showing up because I'm like, if this is working for me, this type of mindset shift and of taking action, I'm pretty sure there are women that are just like me out there. I think we've all been brainwashed or taught that success comes in a masculine way. What does that look like? Going all in, hustle harder, push through, and do more. But if your goals constantly feel overwhelming, your nervous system eventually starts resisting it. You burn out, you stop showing up, and convince yourself that you're just not disciplined. For me, feminine energy looked different. And honestly, feminine energy is what helps me start taking action now. It's working in tune with my body. And when I say feminine energy, I'm not talking about being passive or waiting for inspiration. I'm talking about creating a way of living that works with your nervous system instead of constantly fighting against it. Whether it's working out or building a business, reading 10 pages, or just breaking a bad habit. Don't ask yourself how much you could do today. Just ask yourself, what can you keep showing up for? So essentially, I want you to build a routine that does not require motivation. I want you to build one that's so easy to return to that even if you do give up or even if you do fail, it's easy to return back to and it doesn't feel overwhelming. Mindset shift number 5 I want you to adopt. I want you to choose future peace over present comfort. A lot of women believe that discomfort is a sign to stop, but I want you to understand that temporary discomfort often creates long-lasting peace. And I just want to make an important distinction because I don't want this to contradict with my other mindset shifts. I am not talking about pushing yourself into burnout or overriding your nervous system all the time. Please don't do that. That is not feminine energy. Feminine energy is creating habits that feel safe, sustainable, and easy to return to. But once you've created that foundation, there will be moments of temporary discomfort. The difference is this. Feeling very overwhelmed tells you something needs to change, whereas temporary discomfort is often just doing something that feels unfamiliar. So, just want to make that clear. I want you to stop asking yourself what feels good right now and start asking what will create the most peace for my future self. Here are some common examples of present comfort: scrolling, avoiding conversations, impulse spending, sleeping in, and staying silent in situations that you need to speak up for yourself. Instead, when you do the hard thing now, it's going to create this long-lasting peace that you deserve, which is why I'm big on the soft life. What is my personal example? For me, a discomfort that I'm experiencing right now, I guess I would say, is to film a YouTube video. Even though I'm in a place where I've overcome my fears and I really enjoy showing up and I see traction on my channel, but overcoming that fear of discomfort, why was I embracing this discomfort? I knew I wanted a soft life where it included financial freedom, it included making an impact on women just like me, and it aligned with becoming a woman that had mental peace, that's present with her husband, with her kids, and everyone around her, and just had a regulated nervous system. This is why starting a YouTube channel was so important for me because that's the life I knew I deserved. And one way to do this was by starting a YouTube channel. And I had to do the work to overcome that fear and start taking action. So, what I want you to understand is that the life you want is often hiding behind the conversation, that workout, or a decision that you're avoiding. And the last mindset shift I want you to take away that piggybacks off our last shift is that the soft life is built, it's not just found. Most women think the soft life is doing less, which it is in some way, but in reality, soft life means carrying less chaos. For the longest time, I thought peace was something I would eventually arrive at. I told myself that once my business grows, once I'm more productive, once I have everything figured out, then life will feel more peaceful. But every time I reached one goal, another one came into its place. And I realized I wasn't chasing peace. I was chasing this feeling that I had done enough. The biggest shift came to me when I stopped trying to earn that peaceful life and started intentionally designing one. Hell, I used to think the soft life was escaping responsibility. I was that girl. Now I believe that it's all about creating systems so that responsibility feels lighter. I realized the soft life was not making me less productive. It was the very thing that turned me into a doer. I was taking action left and right. So I stopped asking myself, how can I make my life look softer? I started asking myself, how can I make my life feel lighter? Because the soft life is not built with luxury. It's built with systems. Social media obviously makes the soft life, it kind of gives it a bad rap, which is why a lot of women are like, why are women doing the soft life? They're going to rely on a man financially. It's not that. It's not about the flowers. It's not about the matcha or skincare routines or beautiful homes. Trust me, that is not what I'm preaching on this channel. I am all about peace. I was burned out. I was going through a tough time in life and I just wanted peace. And I knew how important it was to have mental peace, a regular nervous system, and sticking to something that I know I can show up for the next 5 years. For you, that peace can come from when the bills are paid, or protecting your energy with boundaries, or following routines that support you, or planning ahead instead of constantly reacting. Trust me, people on social media just see the peaceful life. They don't see the systems creating it. Like I said, the peace doesn't happen by accident. It is designed. The more intentional your life becomes, the less overwhelmed you feel. So that wraps up my 6 mindset shifts of how to become a doer and not a thinker. If there's one thing I hope you can take away from this video is this: your life doesn't change because you found the perfect planner, the perfect routine, or the perfect morning. It changes because you become the kind of woman that studies herself, trusts herself, chooses her future over her comfort, and intentionally creates peace for herself. And that's what I've been trying to do the last few years. But become someone, not to become someone perfect, but to become someone I can rely on. And that's really my hope for you after watching this video. I don't want you to close YouTube and start looking for another self-development video. I hope this video helps you to close this app, go for that walk, have that conversation, set that boundary, start that business, and take that messy first step. Because your future is not built on the videos that you watch. It's built by what you do after this one ends. If this video spoke to you, I would love to know, which mindset shift challenged you the most? Please leave it in the comments because I genuinely love it when you do. And if you are on your own journey of becoming your best self, I would love for you to subscribe by clicking this button right here. Hope to see you take that first step.